today's video, we're going to be learning how to make fake bokeh in Photoshop to make your portrait photos look that much more spectacular. So obviously you're going to need a computer of some sort. In this case I'll be using my HP. And you're going to want some portrait photography. Whether you take this on your phone, it could be a JPEG, RAW file, it actually doesn't matter. Here we have a picture I took on my Panasonic G7 at f-stop 5.1. So this picture actually came out really nice. The only concern I have is basically the people in the background, especially with the bright, vibrant orange colors. I kind of just want to dissipate those and just blur everything out. And this is very similar to how if you have a picture taken on your phone in portrait mode, say an iPhone or Samsung or even Pixel now. Basically what it's doing is using software to initiate where you want blurred and where you don't want blurred, and then it will just blur out the parts that it believes to what should be blurred and what shouldn't in the software, allowing you to have a great looking picture even though it's artificially made bokeh. So in this case what we're going to use will be the quick selection tool. And basically, you're going to want to increase that to a size where you can blur out the background. So in this case, we're going to be selecting these people, a little bit of the ground as well. And we're going to have to watch out for the kid's hand in this case. And I should say I took this picture in Prospect Park. So if you guys are ever there, it's a good location. We can go ahead and blur that out. And I'm going to keep the tree in focus just to have a little bit more realist. You still want the aperture to look kind of real. You don't want to blur everything out if it doesn't need to be. We'll go ahead and get the ground down there. Now let's zoom in. Of course you can hit Z to go to the magnifier tool on the kid's hand. Hit W, again keyboard shortcut to switch to the quick selection tool. We can always use the left and right brackets to change the size. Okay, select that area. Let's scroll down here a little bit. It decides that the kid's arm is not worth keeping. So let's go ahead and reselect that. Let's get the kid's shirt. Okay, let's get this part over here. This is going to be very fine editing, so you're going to want to take your time. And I'll probably cut at this point to when this is finished. Okay, so now that we have selected our area and proportions that we want to blur, we're going to go ahead and edit that. Firstly, I do want to say that if you happen to do this in the opposite order, so you would select the people that you don't want to blur, you can always right click and hit select inverse in case that's just easier to do. In this case, it's not, so go ahead. You're going to want to make sure that the screen isn't locked. So if you have here to lock, unlock it. Go to filter. Now you're going to look for the blur, and you're going to go ahead and go to blur gallery and field blur. And you can already see that a lot of it has been blurred out. Now in this case my selections weren't good, so what we can always do is hit cancel, and you can see the areas I missed, and you can go ahead and fix that up. Make sure everything is nice and well selected. And in this case, this bush, at first I was going to leave unselected. We're going to go ahead and select that in there, just because it was kind of creating a weird effect, especially with the amount of blur that was being used. Okay, now that we've done that, once again go to filter. Once again go to blur gallery and field blur. And you can see it's being blurred at a 15 pixel radius, so we're going to go ahead and bring that down a bit back up. You're going to want to find your sweet spot. So you have bokeh, you can do light bokeh, which basically means that the light particles are going to become more circular. So you can do this on a small amount, you can do this on a large amount. And then bokeh color, which means that the more blur you're using, the more the colors will be spread out. Now that we have selected our area and blurred out the area we don't want, and once you find your proportions, hit OK, and let that just do its thing. Boom, you've got your blur.